Well, good morning. How you doing? This is 1100 WSGI. I'm U-Turn LaVern, and yes, this is one street over, and I had to hush my guest up so I could sign on because, you guys are gonna know who this is. Steve Jarrell is in the house this morning, and I told him, I said, we were out talking with Ilyu just a minute ago, and I'm like, I gotta get in here and turn things on, y'all. Let's sit out here and just talk old radio and all the things. It's fun to get together and do that, isn't it, Steve?
It is.
Now you gotta turn that mic down and go right in the top of it, Betty.
All right, got the windscreen here.
Yeah, for sure.
Wind's blowing.
And we've been, I have heard you were back in town and all this kind of stuff, and I heard you spoke at the Historical Society, all of those things. I've known you've been in town for a while, and I've been wanting to get you in here, and I'm just so glad that we were able to make the connection.
Yeah, finally.
You get
up so early in the morning, it's kind of hard for me.
I want to take just a moment.
Well, and I'll tell you, I'm teaching full time, and we're actually on summer break. And everybody, this is my summer look, y'all. You're going to see me in a ball cap a lot, because that means I don't have to get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. I can get up at about 6 o'clock, come rolling in. So yeah, this is kind of the way we used to roll with radio back in the day.
Yeah, when you didn't have to look at it.
And I know
before we had camovers on us,
and can't pick your nose or anything.
Yeah. But so you're going to see me a little more casual over the next couple of months.
You still look fine.
But so I'm like, yeah, we're gonna rock the old school radio look. But there'll be days where I have things I've got to do after radio that I'll go ahead and but there's going to be a lot of days I'm going to be like, I'm here. I live 2 miles away, so it's not like I have to get up. But this gives me something.
So that you
people talk about, I'm 62 years old. When are you going to retire? I'm like, I don't know that I'll ever retire. I like to work. I like having a schedule, and when I am, I'll have Lee Marie come in and fill in for me, and I'll take a week off, and I feel like I'm spinning in circles. I'm disconnected. So I have to have something going on.
You got to have a project. You got to have a project.
Yes, that is me. I've got to have a project going on, and this is certainly a wonderful way for me to start the day and get me going. So I love it. Now I'm going to take some time
Here's some of what she had to say.
I've got some things.
We get to the beach, maybe.
No, I'm not a beach person.
To me, the last time I went to the beach,
about the beach.
Listen, last time I went to the beach, I came out of the water and somebody yelled, "Keep it wet, I'll call SeaWorld."
Yeah, you're funny. But no, we're more, we've always had to gear our travel around seeing family. Because, that's why everybody at church is like, are you still coming here? Because we're only at church probably about once on Sunday morning. We're only there, consistently, maybe twice a month, because I've got a family and a grandchild in Jackson. My family, my brothers in Mayfield. I've got a nephew up in Kansas City I need to go see. We've got my husband's family that's just south of Lake Superior. So that's a big drive. I've got grandchildren in Mount Juliet, which is an hour away. A son down in Huntsville that's about to get married, and then I've got one, out toward Murfreesboro, just right there at LaVern.
So you're never home.
I'm all over the place. So nonetheless, it's we're running around all the time.
Son David, as he continues to lead the ministry.
I'm blessed. Both my kids are in Springfield. I'm
That's great.
10 miles away in Ridgetop.
That's great.
We get together once a week and, have taco night or pizza night or some night.
That's great. We try to get together with the kiddos. For a long time we were doing family day once a month. But then my grandson discovered baseball.
And she is with you.
Baseball is a thief when it comes to family time. I'm just going to tell you, I enjoy watching him. I do. I think it's fun. But the reason why we did not play it with my kiddos is because it is a thief. It steals everything else. Because I don't know what you guys are thinking with your baseball schedules.
Mine was tennis with my kids.
Yeah, but it's just like when these sports completely take over your life, I find that concerning. And so that's why we didn't play baseball. And because it just, and I, nothing against you baseball families, but y'all crazy. I'm just saying, you're crazy. And I'm just teasing. But we are a baseball family, because he's not only, we're supposedly playing a best out of 3 championship for this Mount Juliet Little League tonight. We're supposed to have 2 games. And if they split it, then there'll be a game tomorrow night. But it's probably going to get rained out, and now the double game is going to be tomorrow night when I've got Celebrate Recovery at church, and it's just like, It's just.
Which way do I go?
Yeah, yeah. And it's just, you want to be there, but it's like we've got all these other things going on. So it's just baseball's a thief. Baseball is a thief is how I feel about it. But anyway, I'm just saying. But it's fun to watch them. It's exciting.
Yeah.
The most fun thing is watching the crazy parents that just lose their mind. And we had one last week, and they'll have one person keep the official score on one team, and then a person on another team will actually keep the scoreboard. And that woman would not put up, she would not put up all the outs when her team was up. And the minute that we were up, boy, those outs would just go up. And we would score, and she wouldn't put up the score. And she was like, I'm not cheating. I'm like, but you're just crazy. I didn't say that to her, but it was just hysterical.
You want to see crazy people go to one of those professional wrestling matches.
Oh, my goodness. I can't even imagine. I don't know if I could do that or not, brother. I don't know if I could do that or not. We need to get to what you're wanting to talk to, because we'll sit here and just G-haul. We won't even get to the point with, because
we haven't seen each other so long.
Exactly. Steve, how many years were you on these airways?
15 years, I think, and counting here.
Yeah.
And then WDBL before that.
Right.
But I actually started in, I want to say 80, 81 in Ashland City, WAJN. That's where, that's where I started. Joe Roberts taught me. I don't know if you know Joe.
No,
That's where I actually started. I mean, so it's been over 20-some years, but who's counting?
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I was counting up how many years I've been in. I've been in radio since 1980. I told the kids that in class.
That's about the time I started. Yeah.
But I gotta say something. Johnny B's on watching us. Johnny B, I love you. Him and Carr are putting together a podcast.
Oh, really?
Phil and Carr were doing the pod goats, and I don't know what I wish y'all just do the pod goats again, Johnny. I don't know. I think y'all, that's just a great name. I wish y'all just call it the pod goats and go for it. But they're reviving the podcast that
isn't he playing music too or doing something,
Johnny B? He was. No, he was, he worked with Phil, and then Phil passed.
Well, yeah, but he plays in the band or something.
Oh, yeah. He plays music. I'm not sure exactly.
I heard
he's getting a little older.
Last I heard, he was putting a band together. And
okay, Johnny, I don't know about that. I hadn't heard that.
Johnny, I talked to Ian Gillan. He was in town, lead singer for Deep Purple, and he's a buddy of mine.
Okay.
He was in a week before last. I didn't get a chance to catch up with him. He was in recording a new album. I just thought you'd like to know that.
Oh.
He's going to be back in a year. He said next year when he comes, and he'll give me a call. So I'll hang out with him then.
Oh, that's pretty cool. But I mean, I don't know what all Johnny's up to, but I do love him. He's a good guy, and I love that they're putting that podcast back together, and they're going to be coming back on. Buzzy Poole's on here. Say, hey, Buzzy, how are you doing?
Buzzy and I are working on a project together.
So
I guess I can say that. I don't know.
Okay. I've not. It's so funny because I've heard of. I've heard Buzzy play, and he's quite the musician.
Yes, he is.
And I love him, but I never really got to know him until he became our city mayor. And he's been in here a couple of times. He's a character. He's a
great guy.
He's a lot of fun.
We've known each other for many years.
Yeah, for sure. But now, what are you here specifically to make sure everybody knows today?
Well, you know what? I've been researching. I grew up in Fredericksburg, Virginia.
Right.
And Fredericksburg, when I grew up, was a small town.
Right.
About 15,000 people. Outgrew itself. It's 50 miles south of D.C., and all the folks from D.C. moved south and turned it into what they left behind. What we were, they came down and turned it in what they left in D.C. for their own convenience. And the thing I love about Springfield that it's kept is small town charm.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I like, not big high rises tearing down. Even Music Row in Nashville's gone. It's all high rise and all that stuff now.
It's changed. Yeah.
And Springfield being the hub of Robertson County, going back to 1931 when the old movie theater first opened. Mm-hmm. Okay, it was the hub. People came. They came there for different events, and not just movies, but other events too. And right now, in my opinion, Springfield doesn't have a hub. I mean, you go Portland. They've reopened that old movie theater there. They have events there. There's a nice one in Gallatin, and different. Lebanon has one over there. But it just needs to be survived when you talk about going to, was it Cross Plains, the old store? Is that where the old general store is, where people kind of hang out? Is that what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I mean, we were up in Cross Plains for the festival last weekend, and there's all kinds of
strawberry festivals and things going on.
That's up in Portland, but I know what you're saying. There's all kinds of things like that going on. Yeah.
Years ago, Leslie Dean and I don't know if you know this, when we started having concerts down at the Travis Price Park, we'd have band concerts. Leslie Dean and I started that many years ago. And of course, now it's uptown, and you see what it's grown into.
The first Friday night market.
Friday,
we're doing, and I remember coming out to the park and seeing you guys play.
Yeah, we actually started that, and we said, well, look, something, we got that old stage down there, let's use it. And a lot of the merchants in town and businesses, like Onstott and Ferris, the dental office, they all chipped in. They paid for it, and I provided the sound for free, and we had a little booth there that sold popcorn and Cokes, and everything was great. And of course, now it's uptown, but it grew. But the point I'm trying to make is that theater, and I don't know the reason, it got to a point that where the guy that owned it had to stop, and it's for sale now, and it needs to be revived, because
I would love to see that happen.
Well, that could be the hub again. And a friend of mine back in Virginia bought the Colonial Theater, and he called me, and I went and renovated it for him and turned it into a performing arts theater, and not just concerts, but things like gospel singing, and children's shows in the morning. I'd love to bring children's shows free to everybody and show the old cartoons that we watched when we were kids, instead of, kids now don't see Woody Woodpecker or Jekyll and Hyde.
Well, and that's the thing. I like to show those to my grandkids, and they're just captivated, because it's so different than what they're used to seeing right
Exactly.
now.
And it's entertainment. It's fun. Yeah. It's fun. There's no violence involved in it or anything. Right. It's just a good time. And also, we would do fashion shows and things like that around the holidays, some of the local stores, and so there's a lot of uses for it, and I think that theater could be the hub of Springfield again.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
that's my new quest, is to try to get somebody with deeper pockets than mine. But I have a friend down in Harriman, Tennessee, that got involved in it, and he got the city got behind it, and they worked out a deal with the college, and the college does classes in there.
Oh, that's cool.
And but here's the deal: they get money. The state gives them money because they're using that as a school, as teaching facility. That's a great idea. Yeah. And that's how that's how they do it. And my friend down in Harriman that started this whole thing, he and a friend of his started out by buying that theater. And he said, well, if you get ready to do it, come down and we'll tell you exactly how we did it, and got involved. And it works. And Harriman's smaller than here.
Right.
And so I know it can be done, and I made a pledge, and I said, you do it, I've had experience in it, I'll run it for you. And I meant that, So that's
that's a great idea. Have you talked to? I got to correct something. I said a while ago that Carr and Johnny B were putting together. It's Campbell. I knew better than that. Carr's the firstborn, but anyway, it's Campbell and Johnny B that are putting together a podcast. Kind of
that's great.
The same in the same avenue, but I wanted to correct that, because as soon as I said that, I was like, oh, it's Campbell, not Carr. I'm sorry. I can't keep my own kids straight. But anyway, but they're the ones that are putting together something like Phil and Campbell had going before Phil passed away. But I'm excited for that. But I love your idea. And I think it's a great one. And I've had a lot of people that have said that they wanted to see that that revival happen. And I mean,
well, it's the largest place downtown, right in the middle of town. It ought to be
finding the investors. That's the big thing. But there's a lot of I think it's got so much potential. What kind of condition is it in? Is it a building as far as codes are concerned that it's not going to need a lot of? Because that's the thing when you're looking at with the buildings that we had. Mayfield got blown away by the tornado, and some of the buildings that went down, people were like, well, they needed to, because they were, our courthouse was it was really hard upkeep because it was so old and all that, and you'd hated to see it gone. But the buildings were really having some issues. I had one of my ex-brother-in-laws. I'm wanting to say had a building that was having some collapse or something that they had on the square, and so you think about that when you see these old structures. Yeah. Is it sound? Is it completely sound on the inside and everything good?
Smoky Barn did a thing on it, and they have pictures of it in there, and it's for sale, as you know.
Oh yeah.
And the guy that owned it, he is 3/4 away done. It's got
so they did a lot of renovation on it, right?
And I was talking to him about it when he had it, and we were going to get together on it. And he was waiting on the new electric panels,
right?
And he did that, and then he was working on all the licensing and everything. And I think all that's complete. I think it's almost there.
Really?
Just takes somebody to. Of course, I don't know what he's asking for it, but because he's got a lot of money in it,
of course.
But there's pictures. On Smoky Barn.
I need to go look those up.
Yeah, it's beautiful inside. The work he's done inside, it looks great. And I heard the work. The roof is okay. So I don't know what it needs. I haven't walked through there. Yeah, I haven't walked through it. I want to, and but it's a lot further than it was. It's at a point to where it's definitely salvageable.
Okay.
And it should be, because if it, and the longer it sits dormant, the worse it could get. And then, look how much money the city or the county is going to have to pay to tear a place like that down.
When did you see the article at Smoky Barns? Has it been long?
No, I just researched it and.
Okay, I'm looking it up right now because I'd love to see that article that he did.
Oh, yeah.
And we love you, Smokey. He does a good job keeping us up to date.
He does a great job.
Really good job. I've always thought that he just does not get the credit he deserves. He works hard and he's just a one man show pretty much.
Yeah.
And he stays on top of it.
I'll find it for you.
Yeah, if you see that, and maybe go ahead and share it in comments because I would love to see that.
Yeah, one thing is he talked about is they stripped the walls and they took it down to the original artwork that was on the walls.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, and it looks great.
I would love to see that. That would be because we had a theater back home in Paducah where we never really had one. We didn't have an old one in Mayfield, but we would go to Paducah to one of the old theaters that had that, that really cool stuff on the walls. I wonder if that's still around. I haven't checked that out in a long time. I need to go see.
Those old buildings like that need to be saved.
Cool.
I mean, they're part of history.
Yes.
Like I said, in 1931, when the one in Springfield was built, that was the hub.
Yeah.
That was a hub, and it could be a hub again.
Well, when we first got here, we got to Springfield in 92. And we immediately, that's a place that we would go. We went to the theater a lot.
Yeah, it was like $1.50 ticket or something. It was great.
Yeah, it was great. It was a discount ticket a lot of times, and sometimes it would be movies after they've had their first run. But we loved it, and we'd take the kids to see all the cartoons and all those kinds of things. So it was one of those things I hated to see go away.
Yeah.
Because we really enjoyed it as a family.
Well, I did too.
I would love to see it revived.
Well, come on, y'all! Somebody with deep pockets call me.
Who out there can do this? I would love to see a group get together, and and I know you were talking about Buzzy would love to see it happen as well. So y'all know people out here that
I know musicians. Well, all musicians are broke. You know what you call a musician that breaks up with his girlfriend?
Homeless.
Yeah,
I've heard that many times.
When I was little, I said, "Daddy, when I grow up, I want to be a musician." He says, "Son, you got to do one or the other."
Yeah, you got to either grow. That's funny. That's funny. I love talking to my kiddos. I'm, working with high school students and stuff, and working in the capacity. You were saying one of your sons that your son had worked in video production and all that, and it is a fun gig. It is a fun gig working in entertainment, but you've got to be ready for the trials of it, and that means travel. That means
rejection.
Yes,
tough skin.
We have a guy, Steve Beischer, that is running the media. I mean, this is something I just keep. I don't know if you know any young people that still have access to Tennessee Promise. Steve Beischer is a 5-time Grammy award-winning sound engineer. Has worked on 100 number one singles, and he is running the media classes at Vol State. Mm-hmm. Your kiddos can take those classes if they're interested in them for free right now. And this guy was talking, he came in and he comes in and talks to my kids all the time because he said in his heyday, when he was at the height of his career, I don't know, I think he said about every 13 months he was looking for a job.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of it. When you're working in anything to do with entertainment, you are constantly, you've got to promote yourself. You got to be out there. It's a lot of fun. I had one of my students who I love dearly is going into work for the stagehand union. And I'm like, it's a lot of fun, but you got to know what you're getting into. And it's a blast, but you've got to understand the lifestyle. And it's the same thing in anything in the arts. Anything in the arts or the media. You've got to understand the lifestyle and be ready for it spiritually and financially. Right. You've got to make sure and save for a rainy day.
Now, Johnny B would tell you this, like radio is not like it used to be. They say radio personalities. The announcers have no personality.
I've never heard that.
Well, I mean, when we were on the air, like with Phil and Johnny B and guys like Cody McLeod and Carl P.
Oh yeah,
they were entertaining. I mean, because they would talk about things. But now when you turn on and I'll probably never get any more radio play on my records, but you turn it on now, you hear about the game they're going to give away, listen to us, and we're going to give you $1,000 and do this, and here's the time, and here's the weather, but you don't get a chance to, as you know, I do an internet radio show, and it doesn't pay a lot, but the reason I like it, and when I was here, the reason I liked it, I mean, it's like Swap and Shop. I mean, there's some people that it's fun. It was fun.
Swap and Shop was fun.
Yeah, and but still, you could. If somebody came in and they had a good record and it was good, you could play it.
Yeah.
You can give somebody a shot. Now, I do an oldie show. I'm still the daddy on the patio. I'm on every Saturday morning on a station called, I guess I can say, mybnr.com. And I do 3 hours every Saturday morning. And I play the demos. Denny Lane from the Moody Blues and Wings, we were buddies. He'd let me play his demos. The guys from the Rascals, they'd let me play, just to be heard, to be able to hear. And there's so many people coming out with good product. You get it. There's a group called the Lady Killers. They're from Birmingham, England. And they put me on their album because I play their stuff. I was the first American, and that's how
that's cool.
Sid Bernstein brought the Beatles to America and started the Shea Stadium thing. He and I were buddies for that same reason. I met him one time, and he was working with a new guy from England, and I was the first American to play his record. Mm-hmm. So that led to, it's a whole story in itself, our friendship. But you just had the opportunity. We were trusted enough to know, the management gave us enough trust to know that we're not going to put anything on there that's going to offend anybody. Right. And go ahead.
No, it's just a different world. I mean, Hoss Allen, that people, I say I worked with Hossman, and people think about the one that was at SIX. No, I'm talking about the original Hossman. The William Hossman Allen, and had the great honor of working with him. And he would talk about being on 1510 back in its music days whenever, they'd bring in Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
He remembers them bringing in Elvis Presley. And he talks about Jimi Hendrix when he was stationed up at Fort Campbell coming in and playing live on the air and stuff like that. That's not what they do anymore. It's not the same. But, I mean, that's how radio, in the early days of radio.
And John R., and
Right, yes.
When John R. Got sick, we played for his, they had a big, I guess it was at the Ryman's where it was.
Right.
But the night before, my band, Sons of the Beach, played for the banquet. Mm-hmm. And with Hossman and B.B. King was there, and Wolfman Jack. And it was incredible.
Yeah.
But it's just not like that. I miss, of course, I guess I miss a little. People say, Steve, how old are you? I said, let me tell you how old I am. I used to deliver ice to George Washington's house.
Yeah.
And they laughed, but I really did. My dad was the ice man, and Ferry Farms is George Washington's boyhood home, and it's right there on the right there on the Rappahannock River.
Right.
And we used to take ice over there to show the tourists how they kept stuff cold. So
I gotcha.
Yeah, I'd work for Daddy.
So it was a novelty.
Yeah, so it's like a music guy saying, "Yeah, I got a record deal." Oh, you do? What's that? Yeah, I get one a month from Columbia.
Yeah. I gotcha. Well, that's very cool. And so we're talking with Steve Jarrell, and he is the daddy on the patio that was on these airways for many, many years. And just kind of reconnecting with him, talking about, I saw Mandy come in, so we're going to have to wrap it up here. Mandy Christenson with our White House Chamber is going to come in here and talk about what's going on out in White House. But looking for people to revive that local theater. And I know that's something that a lot of us have been very hopeful of. I wish I had deep enough pockets to go in with you, brother.
Let's get it done, hon.
There's plenty of people around here that could get it done. It truly, we talk about that Franklin has nothing on us, and they don't. Because, we have got so many things that I see people spending a fortune to be in Franklin.
Yeah,
and then us up here, but we want that small town feel. But that's one of the things I think that really brought back downtown Franklin was that theater.
Yeah.
And they've got that beautiful theater that has been revived. And so things like that, finding restaurants for the downtown. Of course, we've had several that have done, finding those shops, those specialty shops, and really getting that theater rolling would be phenomenal.
Exactly. I came up
phenomenal for downtown.
I came up the other day, and I really hadn't walked downtown in a while. And there's some new businesses, and they look great, and they're fabulous. And it's on the way. We just need a center point.
I agree.
And that theater can do it.
Yep. I agree, buddy. I agree. Anything else you want to share before we wrap up our time?
Well, you're talking about Johnny B listening in, and we were talking about Phil. Did you know Phil played in a beach music band back in the Carolinas?
Oh, yes.
I've got a copy of a song that he recorded that I drag out every now and then, 60-Minute Man.
Yep. I've known Phil since he got to Nashville. He and I we got to Nashville about the same time. He got here a little behind me, but we were, he was doing afternoons and I was doing overnights before I started the whole U-turn. Well, it's just, we had a long history together.
He was from Washington, North Carolina, I believe, or somewhere around
Nashville. He was from Nashville.
Oh, Nashville, North Carolina.
Yeah, I guess North Carolina. Yeah. His dad was a senator or a representative.
Right.
I can't remember.
Right.
And a United States representative. I guess he was a representative. But I'll forget the details. But he and I had a long history together. But he's a good guy.
See, I got
we'd love to see Campbell do something in memory of his dad for sure with Johnny B. That'd be awesome.
See, I got a good idea. If we get that theater, they can come up and do the podcast show live from inside the theater.
Yeah, that's something that you could do. Is you could do some live stuff there. There's all kinds of things that could be done with that theater if we can get that going. But so, how can they get in touch with you if they want to, get on board with this?
Well,
give out a contact info.
You could go to. You can send me an email at the numerical number 4, Jarrell, JARRELL at bellsouth.net. Mm-hmm. Or give Buzzy a ring. He's got. Not like he don't have enough on his hands already, but Buzzy and I have had some talks about this, and he agrees. It would be a wonderful thing. It would be a wonderful thing.
Yeah. So
and it gets the community involved. You want to have a talent show. Let's have a talent show.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I love seeing you, buddy.
Well, you too. It's been a long time.
Has been a while.
And thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And we'll just do it again soon.
Sounds good.
Absolutely. Right. Thank you, Steve.
See y'all.
God bless
Johnny
you.
B, love you, brother. Take care.
On the patio. Steve Jarrell. We're going to let him head out, and we're going to let Mandy come on in here. And while she is making her way in and he is making his way out, I'm going to talk about my friends, Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty, guys. If you want to find out everything you need to know in the real estate community, come on in here and sit right down there. And if you want everything you need to know from the real estate community, the latest, the greatest, if you want to know how much your home is worth, if you want to just get a market analysis, they can take care of that for you. Rebecca and Barry have been at this a long time. They came out of different careers, though, to go into real estate. And I think that's excellent. And it shows you when they bring that diversity to the table, all the different experiences that they've had, it just makes things different. You know, she worked in radiology before she was raising her kids and then went full-time in real estate. He comes out of a marketing background, brings a unique quality to the table, having a marketer that is so well heeled with videography and photography, drone footage, walkthrough tours, all of those things to make sure your property is seen in the absolute best light. You can do no better than Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. They have the office here in Springfield that is the brokerage office, which Barry runs. And then Rebecca has her agency office out in White House. They combine those two to bring you a new branch in the Exit tree, Exit Prime Realty. And if you want to get in contact with them, call 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. Or you can go to sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or buy. BUI, RobertsonCounty.com. And when you do contact them, always let them know U-Turn sent you. Mandy, I'm so glad you're here.
Yes, I'm glad to be here.
I hate, I was making sure I had got Steve out in time because I didn't want to take any of your time because you drove in from White House.
I did, but hey, I made great time this morning.
Good job. Well, because there's no we had the conversation via text yesterday. Well, at least maybe I won't run into buses.
Yes.
So, and I was talking to my husband this morning. I love having you in studio, but we can call you. Yes. And do a phone interview. Yes. So I always love in studio best, but trying to get to where I've had several here locally, because we are really good about checking in with Brian Martin, our city manager. We have Mayor Vogel comes in the day after the commissioners meeting. We really want to start a routine of checking in with your city manager, right? Yes. And the day after y'all have because what do y'all have? Turn that mic up to where you're talking right into the front of it.
So they have our council meeting at Board of Mayor and Aldermen meet the third Thursday of the month, typically. Yes.
Third Thursday. Mm-hmm. So that's a little bit, because we always do a Faith Friday segment. Right. So that kind of comes up on, but we could always maybe do that following Monday.
Right. Yeah. And that would
maybe we could do that. And so you do that on the third Thursday?
Yes. That is typically, now I think June, because there's a holiday, I think it may be on the fourth Thursday.
Okay. Well, we might even check in with them on the last Tuesday of the month or something. Yeah. Because now Mondays, typically we would have Kerry Roberts in, Senator Kerry Roberts. He is, that fourth Monday's kind of his, but he's been so tied up with other things we haven't gotten, but we're going to try to get that routine going. So we've kind of already lock that one up, but maybe we could do that last Tuesday of the month, just kind of see what's going on after the meeting. So I need to get some numbers from you, because I think that might be part of the hesitation to getting that going, is the fact that, it's a long drive. It's easy. It's not as far from Mayor Vogel and, Danny Weeks.
Yes.
They're like right here. Yes. So it's not as big of a deal. But coming in from White House, that's a little bit of a haul.
It is. Yeah, it's not too bad. Like I said, I made it over here really quick this morning with no traffic and nothing happening on the roads. But you never know, especially in Robertson County, what you might run into on the road.
Yeah, you get behind the buses and it can be a little bit of an issue. So, but what have you guys got going on then that you're wanting to promote?
Well, we have a lot of things coming up this summer.
You're busy.
Yeah, always busy. Our Music Under the Stars is our concert series. It starts this Saturday night at the City Park. Fun. Yes, it'll be lots of fun.
And y'all have a beautiful city park.
We do. We have a great park. We have we'll have food trucks there. It's a local band, Cruise Control. They play a lot of hits from the 80s and 90s, a little bit of country. But they're a fun band. They've been together since high school, and they're all in their 50s now. So yes, they took a hiatus and raised families and things like that, and then came back together and started playing music. So we like having them, and then we have inflatables too that are free for the kids. So it's a really good opportunity for families to get out. And of course, there's no cost to attend. The playground's right there. We've got the inflatables, the food trucks. So it's a fun night.
That's what I was going to say, vendors and things like that. So is it just food trucks, or
just
do there some other?
Okay. Yeah, we typically don't have vendors set up at that. We usually will have, I think Elvis's Famous Shaved Ice is our food truck, and Rojos Locos Tacos. So a good selection.
Yeah, for sure. But that sounds like a lot of fun. Stuff like that's always the best. I mean, it's just this wonderful memories with your kiddos and stuff like that.
And a lot of times it's really, really hot when we first kick this off, but it looks like this weekend's going to be pleasant in the low 80s. And right now, no rain. You never know with.
Well, I was telling Steve that we're trying to dodge rainstorms to get in baseball games here and trying to finish up championships and all that. And we're just, the rain has been something else.
No, it has.
To the farmers and all of that. My goodness, it has been, it's been a lot.
Yes. It certainly has. So
that is, again, tell us when those occur.
So the first one is May 31st at 6:00 at White House City Park. Okay. Then we have one on July 19th and another one on August 23rd.
So is it just kind of a random selection of nights? It's not like the 4th. So it's just we just try to look at the calendar and work it around. See how it will you
work.
Have some openings. Mm-hmm. Okay, well that makes sense.
Yeah.
So again, this first one's this Saturday, and then give the other two.
July 19th, we'll have.
So sorry, guys. I thought that was off. Wow.
July 19th, we've got Here Come the Judds. They're a Judds tribute band.
Oh, fun.
So that should be lots of fun. And it's 6:00 again. And then August 23rd, we have another band, and their name is escaping me right now.
Okay.
But yes.
But that'll be
Conspiracy Theory.
Conspiracy Theory.
That sounds fun. Yes, Conspiracy Theory.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
So, well, that'll be great. And those are two. But now, y'all, I know that's not all you've got going on this summer. What else have you got going on?
We have a lot more. We also have a bunco tournament that's a lot of fun. I didn't know what bunco was when we first planned this, but I learned very quickly that it's a lot of fun, and the ladies like it, and the gentlemen do too, but typically this is a ladies event that we have. We host it over at the Robertson Room, which is in Cross Plains. That is June 5th. That is a Thursday, so that's coming right up. We're excited about that. We've got tickets available. They can register on our website. It's whitehousechamber.org. And we include food and a little bit of wine, and our friends at TriStar Beverages bring some beer for us. So, but
talk about
sorry,
we don't do that on here. It's a Christian radio station.
So sorry,
sorry about that. Yeah, let's don't.
But then, so that's what we have coming up, and then our Americana celebration is also on the horizon.
Okay,
and that is July 5th. So it's the day after the 4th. I think the Springfield celebration.
Ours is on the 3rd.
Yes, yeah.
So y'all's is the day after. Well, that's convenient.
Yeah,
I love that.
They can hit all the local places with it laid out that way.
For sure.
And we'll have on-site parking this year. It's at the soccer complex. We also have free shuttle buses. Okay. The parking on-site is paid. It's $20 a car. It's free concert. Rubik's Groove will be there. We have lots of fun for the kids, inflatables, free face painting, balloon twisters. I think we've got a stilt walker and some fun things like that going on. And then the White House Community Band is a group of musicians that are our former band members from different high schools and things like that. They put this together, I guess, about 2 or 3 years ago. They might be somebody you want to have on the show because they go around and will play concerts at different locations. They usually try to do 3 or 4 a year. I think they have about 60 or 70 members, and it's high school age and beyond.
So this is band. This is like the concert band
like concert band. Yes, ma'am.
Cool.
Yes, yeah.
Because I mean that's something I think that is a wonderful idea because you've got these kiddos that have put all this time into being in the band,
right?
And then when they're done, if they're not going on to college and playing, where do they enjoy?
Right? Continue that practice.
I love it when that's one of the things I love about Perry's the Rock House up here.
Yes,
is because I've played off and on my entire life, but the reason why I've set it aside is I don't have anybody to play with. And so being able to give people somebody to play with,
right?
Yes, and just to have a place to plug in, and not be just playing by yourself because just to pull out a guitar and just sit down and play by yourself is you get tired of that.
Yes,
and so being able to pick up your
and feed off of each other and
go in, I think that is so cool.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah. It's a really good concept.
And I guarantee you they're good, too.
Yes.
Man, you talk about some talented musicians.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Our middle school band director is really involved with it. And he may have been the catalyst for it, too. I'm not exactly sure how it all came about.
What a great idea.
Yeah. So we're excited to have them. I think we've got about 50 that will be playing. So they'll be our opening act at Americana.
How fun.
Yeah. So
how fun
lots of
is
fun.
that?
And then, of course, fireworks at the end of the night. Our friends at Pro Impact help us with that. And so the fireworks go off promptly at 9.
At 9 o'clock.
Yes.
So that's why it's nice and dark and all those things. Well, yeah. you need to share all these numbers with me, and I'll reach out to them and just remind them you can do this via phone. But I would love to talk to them about that.
Yeah.
That would be great.
And I'm sure they would love to recruit, because it's not just people from White House. But
right.
Primarily, they're the White House area, but they will, I think they're very open to all musicians.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I think that would be, that would be a great band to work with some of our theater groups around town.
Sure.
'Cause, I mean, I know we've got a musical coming up with Robertson County Players.
Yes, that's exciting. Little Shop of Horrors.
I couldn't get out. My kid was in that. My son Elijah was in that back in the day in high school, and it's a great musical. But
it's a fun show. Yeah. So I'm excited to see it.
A full band for that would be fun.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, but when they do the musicals, that that
adds an extra level to the experience for sure.
Well, that's very cool. All right, so what else have you got going on? Keep going, because we'll be out of time before you know it if we don't stay on track.
So one big thing that we have coming up is our No Filter Girls Summit. And I think I've talked to you.
That's something that is just fabulous. This is something you've come in specifically to promote, and this is just a neat program. I love this. Yes. So tell us about that.
So this is it's a girls' summit for teenage girls, and originally it was 5th through 9th graders, because we kind of targeted middle school as probably the most difficult time to survive as a young girl, because there's so many emotions and dramas and friends and not friends. So the first 4 years of the program, it was just for middle school girls. Well, as our girls were aging out of the program because they kept coming back, they were asking for something for high school girls. So this year we're doing 2 tracks. We have a middle school track for 5th through 8th graders, and then we have a high school track for 9th through 12th graders. And of course, we'll keep those separate so that the older girls are experiencing some different workshops, a little more in depth too. Right now, the middle school girls, we break them into groups by age group, and they go around kind of like a summer camp is what it reminds me of. We give 2 adult volunteers that are their team leads, and they will have a team name, and we encourage them to do a chant, but they go around. They'll have 8 different workshop sessions that last about 30 minutes each. So we try to keep them short and engaging. Frida Herndon is going to be teaching one of our classes this year on volunteer leadership. So we really try to give the girls some insight into how they can be more confident, improve themselves, build better relationships with their friends. We have a couple of counselors that are coming in to teach classes. This year we've got a nurse who is going to teach girls some tactics and tips on how to respond in an emergency. So if they need to call 911, what are those steps? Or if a friend has a seizure, what do they need to do? Or who do they need to reach out to? And so she's our school nurse at the high school, and she has experienced a lot of things and seen some students step into action and some students not know what to do.
Right.
So, and of course, that's something that you don't really think about,
right,
but it's necessary.
Yeah. I love that. And I wish we'd had something like that when I was a kid, because I think about how nice that would have been just to have been able to go and just have a place to have a voice.
Yes, exactly.
And I think that would just be wonderful. But I love this program. Y'all been doing this how many years?
This will be our 5th year, I believe.
I was going to say, when I first heard about this, I just thought this is such a great idea and such a good experience. Do they have to pre-register? Because there's a capacity on this. You've got like a limit on that. Right. So you don't want to hesitate. If you've got a young girl that wants to be a part of this, you've got to reach out. So how do they register?
So it's June 13th. It's a Friday.
Coming up quick.
It'll be held at White House High School, and they can register online on our community calendar at whitehousechamber.org. The cost is $30 per girl, but they get a swag bag and a t-shirt and lunch. But we also have scholarships. So if the cost is an issue, we have people that have paid it forward, invested in this program, because we believe in it and we want all of the girls to be able to get that experience. We don't want cost to be a factor for them.
Anything that is got kids involved, I encourage you, if you hear about anything that you want your kid involved and you're like, well, I can't afford it, there's always scholarships. I honestly and truthfully, I don't think I've ever, we were talking about Fellowship of Christian Athletes camp that's coming up, fully funded scholarships. If you've got somebody that wants to get involved in a camp or something, you just have to check into it. And so when it comes to our kids, we're not going to leave any kid out. Right. So don't ever, ever, ever hesitate to not get your kid involved in something because you think, well, I don't have that money.
Yeah.
This area is so good and so compassionate that there's always somebody that, I was talking to somebody about a mission trip the other day and they just like couldn't afford it. I'm like, there's people that will pay.
Right.
They'll take care of that for you.
Yes. Yeah.
But you just have to know who to, you have to ask. You have to ask, and there's always those problems. So I knew y'all would have this.
Yeah, we do, and we really don't give a whole lot of scholarships, but it is there and built in for that purpose. So.
Absolutely, but that is a wonderful program. But it is coming up. That'd be a great way for your kiddos to spend one of their days during the summer. And we're all looking. Anybody that's got little ones or young ones that are still in school, and it's like, what do I do with them while they're out of school?
Yeah, because they get bored after a little while. So
they sure do.
Yeah, and we tried to do it a little bit earlier in the summer so that we can avoid some of that really hot heat that we get in July in case we have outdoor activities. Our police department comes in and they partner with us and they teach the young women self-defense tactics too as well. So there's a lot of action and things happening, and we've got a budgeting class that's with them. The high school girls, we're excited. We've got a professionally trained chef that's coming in, and so she's going to teach them some kitchen basics because probably we all need a refresher on that, and these girls may need the beginning on that. Yeah. But then she's also going to teach them some really easy culinary tricks to make if they have a party, how to make a rose or a special cut of strawberry and make a swan. And so she's working on some things like that. But during that class, they'll also create their lunch. So it'll be a hands-on working session where they're building their lunch, learning about healthy options and choices and how they can change, take grilled chicken and make it 4 different ways and things like that.
That's fun. What a neat day. That's going to be fun. What are the hours that you're going to be there?
So it is from 9 a.m. to 3:15.
Okay.
So it's pretty much a school day. Registration and check-in is 8:30 to 9, and the program starts at 9.
How fun. That's going to be a great day. That's going to be a great day. And this is all part of the White House Chamber. And the White House Chamber, of course, is partly in Robertson, partly in Sumner.
Yeah.
And so y'all have a busy world.
Yeah, we have 2 great counties.
Trying to split the counties. Well, I know I was talking with Dr. Weeks, and he was coming up. He's like, well, I got to go to the White House. And you have the director from Robertson and the director from Sumner there doing an update on how the schools are doing and those kinds of things. So you guys have to split it. I hear the same thing from Mayor Vogel.
Yes.
And I get tickled. But we forget. We've got none of us forget, but it's just one of those things. Y'all are just right there on the edge.
Right, yes.
And so we have to be and you've been great about being so intentional about keeping us up to date.
Oh, well, I mean.
And I appreciate it so much.
We love both of our counties, and we try to be engaged in both of them. You mentioned Mayor Vogel. He will be coming in September with Mayor Isbell from Sumner County, and they'll be giving a State of the Counties update. So that's our September luncheon. I believe it's September.
Okay.
I better not tell the date on that, but it's the 3rd Tuesday in September.
Well, you just recently did the schools.
Yes, that was in May. That was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I was going to say.
We had Dr. Weeks and Dr. Langford in. And we had some students. For the first time, we had leadership students from each school come in
cool.
and tell about what they experienced in their leadership programs, how it's impacted their lives, and then we allowed them to introduce each of the directors.
Very cool. I love that. And have y'all had too much concern over some of the redistricting and all of that up there? Because I know that would affect.
It's impacted a few people in our community, not too many, but a little bit. And it's always scary, and there's concern when things like that are happening. So, but for the most part, I don't think we've had a lot of impact.
Yeah, and that was one of those things. If you heard about the redistricting, as long as you could transport your student, you could still stay at your school if you wanted to stay there. It was a transportation issue more than anything. Yeah. I mean, while we're on the subject, if you're looking for a gig, I know they can use you at Robertson County Schools for sure.
That's right.
Get on these school websites, because at the end of the year is when people put in, that they're going to change and going to do things. And so there's a lot of movement. If you're interested in working in the school systems, now is a really good time to get on the websites and look at those jobs. And working with kids is one of the best things you will ever do. It is just an absolute blast. I love it, love it, love it. And I just encourage you to check that out, because I think the transportation struggles have a lot to do with that redistricting, that we had going on up there. And just y'all are booming. y'all are growing at such a high rate.
We really are. We've got a lot of exciting things happening.
Right there on the interstate.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of things happening. Somebody said the other day, I can't believe they have a Publix.
I know.
So isn't that fun?
Yeah, we've had a lot of new openings and things, and a lot of things on the horizon. The city has an economic development team that the chamber is part of.
Right.
And of course, we work with everybody. We work a lot with Vonda over at Robertson County Economic Development. There's a site there that we're working on with TVA and Vonda and some of our state partners to bring some industries or headquarters in.
Right.
And then we recently attended the International Shopping Center Convention.
Oh, fun.
And that is a recruitment tool for retailers and restaurants and franchise businesses.
Okay.
And so we met with a lot of different businesses. As we've grown, that's something that we've done for several years now. And as we've grown and we continue to go to that conference, we've made a lot of great relationships. And now we have people that seek us out to talk about expansion and what opportunities are available in White House.
Well, when you talk to the citizens, that's what they're like. When are we going to get a and fill in the blank?
Oh, yes.
When are we going to get this? When are we going to get that? And that's a conversation I have all the time with Ryan Martin.
Right.
They're just always like, well, we want this. When can we get this? And it's like, well, you need rooftops to get those things.
Yeah.
You've got to have rooftops. And so people want growth, but they don't want the things that require the growth to have those things, to have those franchises.
It's a delicate balance.
It's a very delicate balance.
And, you're never going to make everybody happy, because that just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But they do their best at the planning and working on those things. And one thing that a lot of people don't realize, especially in our community, or at least it seems like on Facebook, that we don't say, no, don't come here, or yes, do come here. Pretty much the doors are open as long as the business fits in the zoning and those type of requirements. So, sometimes people are like, well, you won't let big restaurant come. No, they've never asked to come.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
And that's, I think, one of the biggest things that happens to get things misinterpreted is people will, this is so, they'll state something as fact and they don't have any idea what they're talking about.
Right.
And they'll just speculate, and then it becomes, this is the way it is. And, I've heard this about the community, and it's like, what? Where did you get that?
Right.
And it's just, so it's very good. That's one of the reasons why I really want to start checking in with y'all city manager, is so we can just lay all those things out, and make sure that we're staying up to date on everything that's going on.
Yeah.
And that makes a big difference. Let's pause for a second. Okay. We need to talk about Bernard Farms, Custom Cuts and Market. I reached out to Julie a while ago, and it's like, what you doing? Because they were off on Sunday and Monday. They wanted to give their employees some time off. They're very, very, very much, we need to honor those that have fallen, and we need to pause. And so they were, I got so tickled though. She had a post up on social media that says, but if you have a grocery emergency, let me know. I just love her. She's adorable. But go to their Facebook page. It's a lot of fun to watch because you get the nuances of everything going on their, in their store, but you also get to see them farm. And I love it. You see them setting tobacco one day, and then she's got pictures of the fields as they're growing. They just do such a good job. I say they're my farm heroes because having grown up in a farm family, it is hard to keep farming going. My brother and his bride, they do a wonderful job up in Kentucky. They raise a food grade white corn. So you have to kind of specialize in soybeans, but you have to specialize in a lot of the things that you're doing unless you're one of these massive farms, that does, 50,000 acres. So you got to look at it and do some things differently. And what they've done with their family so they can continue on the tradition is they've gotten it to where, they raise their own pork and their beef. They do they slaughter it, they process it themselves. It's right there. You can't get any fresher, guys, than what they have. They grow their vegetables that they sell in the store, and they're doing it in such a beautiful way to keep the family farm tradition going for their boys. And I absolutely love the way they do things. They're back open this morning, just kind of a low-key week, she said. They're letting their employees have a week off, and so it's just Julie running the store. She says she's back open, got all of her breakfast items ready, and they were ready at 7 a.m., and they'll have them until they sell out. You can go by there and grab lunch, but they're open 7 to 4, Monday through Saturday, 7 to 4, unless they have a special time off where they're on vacation or taking time off for Memorial Day. But 7 to 4, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., and that's Monday through Saturday. They're open Sunday from 1 to 4. It's a great store. I'm going to get by there this week just to kind of visit and look around and see all the new things that they've done. Great gift items. If you're looking for something unique for a loved one with, and Father's Day's coming up, go by and get them some really nice custom cuts. I don't know too many days wouldn't like you to put them together, a gift basket of meat.
Well, and then they have all the sauces and the seasonings.
Yes.
And they have some great Tennessee and Robertson County merchandise. I love their store.
It is one of my
tenderloin biscuits.
Yes,
can't go wrong.
I'm just saying, and it's at 7536 Clay Gregory Road in Orlando. Again, Julie's running the place this week. They've got a little bit more of a low key week, but trying to get things planted, getting all the farming done. She says Steve's just kind of waiting on the rain. All these farmers pray for some good conditions so we can get everything planted, and then keep it wet through. We just need a good. We're ready for a really good growing season this year, Lord. So, but if you want to give them a call at 615-637-0004, 615-637-0004, and that's for Bernard Farms Custom Cuts and Market. When you get by there, let them know U-Turn sent you. Love having them on as a sponsor. They're so much fun. I just love
they
that
are
family.
Great. They're fantastic.
Yes, very much so. You'll have fun going and talking to them. Well, what else are we missing before we wrap up our time together?
Well, I mean, that's a bulk of what we have going on this summer. The only other thing I don't think I mentioned was our Thrive Women's Luncheon. It's in August, and it's a fun luncheon. We get kind of fancy and fix things up and make it real dressy for the ladies to come out. And it's an opportunity for them to, really pour back into the ladies in the community. So Rita Goodrow is our speaker this year. She's a motivational speaker and funny. So
that's good.
It's usually lighthearted
and
funny. Fun. Yes, and lots of great swag and free gifts that go home with everybody. Our swag bags. The businesses have got a little competitive with one another to find the best thing that the ladies will really like.
So when is this?
It's in August. I believe it's August 12th. It's Tuesday.
Okay.
And it's at the community center. We also give away our Women of White House awards at that.
Okay.
So we have a Woman of the Year and a Rising Star. And the nominations for that are open.
Okay.
And so it's open to women who impact the White House community. So they don't have to live in White House necessarily, but if it's a teacher or somebody like that that's really making an impact, those nominations are open. Tickets are on sale now for Thrive. They can get those. A lot of our businesses will get a table and send a lot of the ladies from their business.
That sounds like a great event.
It's a really nice event.
Who gets to make the nominations? Do you need to be a part of the White House Chamber? Is that just anybody?
It's open to anybody.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh, you got a lot of good stuff going on. Absolutely. And how can people get in touch with you if they want to join the White House Chamber?
Well, they can reach out to us. Our phone number is 615-672-3937, or they can go to our website, whitehousechamber.org, and they can follow us on Facebook and find out everything that's happening in the White House community. We try to keep a really current list of activities and events that our churches and local nonprofits and schools are doing, so they can find that on our community calendar on the website.
And y'all do a great job. Your social media presence is always just wonderful and keeping you up to date. Just follow them. And again, we say about our chambers, we have the White House Chamber, we have Robertson County Chamber, we have the Greenbridge.
And Cross Plains.
And Cross Plains and all these different chambers. They are the bridge builders to our businesses. So if you really want to know what's going on in your community business-wise, and not just businesses, but that's their primary focus, but get in touch with your chamber. My husband and I, when we were first, newlyweds and we were living in different areas, first thing we did was check in with the chamber.
Yeah.
I learned that early on in radio because we did so many things with the Chamber of Commerce up in Nashville and so many events. And so I learned very early on, if I want to know what's going on in the community, I call the chamber.
Yeah, we try really hard to keep our finger on
Yes.
what's happening and things that are going on.
For sure. And that's just one of the best ways to learn what's going on. So follow them, and join, and be a part of all these wonderful events. Yes. Thank you, Mandy, for coming in. Thank you for making the drive.
Yes.
And thank you guys for joining us this morning. Tomorrow it will be Veterans. All things Veteran Service Office will be in here for our last Wednesday of the month, our fourth Wednesday. So I hope you'll join us. Thank you for joining us. This is 1100 WSGI. God bless. Have a fabulous day.